Tuesday at Rules to Go.
Live from Dallas-Fort Worth's WB, this is WB News at 9.
I think it's going to be for federal and state prosecutors both. They're probably going to have to be more careful and cautious in who they strike.
The U.S. Supreme Court struck down the conviction of a Texas death row inmate and sent prosecutors a strong message about jury selection. The Supreme Court is giving a Texas death row inmate a new trial, ruling that Dallas County prosecutors intentionally excluded blacks from the jury.
The High Court says those Dallas prosecutors had strategic methods to keep black jurors out. WB33's Heather Behrens has more.
Thomas Miller L. was convicted of capital murder in 1986 for the death of an Irving motel clerk. Miller L., who is black, has long claimed that Dallas County prosecutors unfairly excluded black jurors from his trial. Today, on a ruling of 6-3, the Supreme Court agreed and overturned his murder conviction.
I was shocked.
Thomas Miller L. says that was his reaction when only one black was selected to be on the jury that would decide his fate. Miller L. was convicted in 1986 of shooting to death Douglas Walker and paralyzing another man during a robbery at this Holiday Inn in Irving. His guilt was never in question, but how he was convicted has long been debated.
We had just all-white jury except one. I knew that who wasn't going to win.
The Supreme Court made a ruling in the case today after a lower court refused to reconsider Miller L.'s claims. Writing for the majority, Justice David Souter noted the prosecutors took their cues from a 20-year-old manual of tips on jury selection. The Supreme Court referring to a 1963 Dallas County manual that instructed prosecutors to do the following: do not take Jews, Negroes, Dagos, Mexicans, or a member of any minority race on a jury. The district attorney's office has said the manual was not used in the Miller L. case and writes in a statement, this office does not and will not tolerate illegal discrimination by its prosecutors during jury selection.
I mean, when you look at the statistics, the numbers, it looks suspect from the beginning.
Criminal defense attorney and former federal prosecutor John Teakell says the case must have struck a chord with the Supreme Court because it's rare for the justices to rule on such cases, and he believes the decision sends prosecutors a strong message.
This should even more solidify that rule of law and make prosecutors realize that they will be reviewed and reviewed more closely on their jury selection.
So what's next in the case? It's not clear if Thomas Miller L. will end up in a courtroom again. Some speculate the district attorney could strike a deal with the defendant. The DA says he'll review the case before deciding what to do next. Heather Behrens, WB News at 9.
A testimony began today in the second trial of a part-time preacher accused of killing 3 civil rights workers in Mississippi.